Welcome to the Addison podcast, where we talk about what it actually takes to hit your first six or multi-six figures in business. I'm Addison, certified clinical hypnotherapist and online business coach for entrepreneurs. And 3 years ago, I decided that nursing wasn't for me, dropped out of nursing school, and dove into the online space. From free hypnosis audios to unfiltered conversations and business advice, this is the space for you to take radical responsibility towards creating your dream business. Let's dive in. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. And today we're bringing forward a new style of podcast. This is going to be a series and we're calling it the Mindset Hotline with Addison. So welcome to the Mindset Hotline, where real questions from my clients turn into subconscious rewires that shift the way that you sell, that you show up in your business, and that you scale your business as well too. So whether this came from a mastermind hot seat coaching call, a mindset audit that I did with my clients live, or a one-on-one coaching call, if they've asked it, you've probably thought it. And so we're going to decode the subconscious patterns that are underneath and rewire it in real time, give you some tips to rewire it in real time. So today, we're going to decode a question that I received in a mindset audit call. This is all about outgrowing your brand and what that means and why it's so hard for you to take action on a brand that you've outgrown. So if you've been feeling like your business doesn't really fit you anymore, this episode is for you. And obviously, if you've grown a really strong brand, you're not trying to start over, you're not confused about your skills, you feel very confident, and you've probably helped other people get results as well too. Of course, you're here and you built a name for yourself and you've made a lot of really good money. But you also now might be craving something a little bit more aligned, maybe more elevated, more simplified, more you as you've evolved, like you've evolved as a human, and maybe your brand hasn't quite evolved to that caliber yet. So this could look like maybe you are tired of speaking to beginners. I have gone through that evolution where my signature program, TVA, speaks to a very surface level. You just started your business beginner. And there was a point where I was craving working with higher level entrepreneurs and people in hypnotherapy that were beyond those beginner level skills. So that is a really great example. Or maybe you want to teach like more advanced strategy, or you want to work with a different type of client, or you want to pivot into coaching. Maybe you're a service provider and you're like, I'm so good at this and people ask me about what I do all the time, but I haven't quite made the pivot yet. Maybe you want to go into more passive income, or you're craving like doing smaller offers, like lower ticket offers versus higher ticket, right? There's a lot of different ways that this can come up. Maybe the offers that used to sell like crazy just like aren't landing for you anymore and they don't feel aligned anymore. And now you're stuck in like this weird in between, still known for the old work that you're doing, but unsure how to fully step into that next level. And this was a question that someone actually brought to a mindset audit where we were auditing what's the reason behind this stuckness in this in-between. And we're going to talk about what that really is, why it's happening, and how you can move through it. What this block really is, obviously you don't need more clarity. Your beautiful little mind has already decided that you know what the next step is, right? You know what the next step is. You know what you're craving. You know what you're desiring to move into. It's not a lack of strategy or productivity because you've done it before. You've built the business from scratch before. So you know that you could make this pivot and you could probably do it really easily. But the real reason that you feel stuck is because you've outgrown the version of business you built, but you haven't fully claimed the next one. And this is where identity and subconscious beliefs come in. So you likely right now are still writing content that speaks to like a past version of your audience, maybe because you assume that's what they expect. You're still holding on to old offers because they've sold before and you're fearful of getting rid of them. You're still showing up as a coach who maybe does it all, even though you have one area that you've really honed in on with your clients because that's what people paid for in the past. You might even find yourself like consciously thinking, okay, I'm going to speak to a high level buyer. I'm going to speak to a higher level buyer. And then when it doesn't immediately work, you revert back to old messaging or old content pieces that feel easy because you've done it for so long without even realizing it. An example of this would be, I mentioned TVA and how I was evolving into a higher level of coaching, into my mastermind, into wanting to speak to a higher level, even millionaire with hypnosis, right? And so I was consistently creating this content though, about 5K months, about business foundation foundations, right? And those people that are going to be at that higher level for mindset work are not going to resonate with that type of content at all. They're going to think, oh, her offers aren't for me, right? And I kept diverting back to that older level of content. And I would be like, why am I not attracting this new level of buyer? And then when I look at my content, it's like, okay, one post might be for a higher level, but I haven't fully called in that new client. And the next piece is like, here's how you're going to create 5K months, or here's the business foundations you need to create a sustainable business. It's not computing. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? And the truth is, through all of this, you don't want to do it anymore, or, you don't want to keep repeating what worked 2 years ago because it's clearly not working today, or you want to be known for the work that actually lights you up now. You want to step into this new evolution. And that shift is not logistical. It is a subconscious shift that needs to happen within you and your identity. So the reason that this is happening, this resistance that you're probably feeling, and people have expressed this as those symptoms that I just mentioned, but also it can be like a resistance that you feel in your body to making the shift. Like, you know what you need to do, but you're just not doing it. You know what you need to do, but you're just not doing it. This resistance shows up the second that you start doing something new without fully letting go of your old identity, without fully deciding to step into the new. So obviously, maybe you say you want to lead higher level masterminds, but you're still funneling people into your beginner memberships and creating content for that. Or you say you want to scale without doing so much live delivery, but you're still stuck editing your website for the 5th time instead of launching the new offer. Or you say that you are ready to simplify, but your brain is overcomplicating every decision because it thinks if you slow down, you'll lose momentum. And this is because you haven't built subconscious safety with that new identity. So there's a lack of safety here. And this is what your brain is going to want to do anytime you pivot or do something new, because it doesn't like the unknown. It likes the familiar. So it wants to keep us in the familiar pain over new pleasure. Even though, we're desiring that over here, it wants to keep us in that familiar pain. And so your mind is wired essentially to believe, because you've created this success in this one area of your business, that people only buy from me for the thing that I used to teach. Or if I stop over delivering, they'll stop paying. So I can't possibly do less. Or if I raise, the level of clientele that I'm serving, I'll lose my audience, or I'll leave people behind. Or this new version of me won't sell as easily. Will people actually see me as an authority, or choose me as the one? And so this isn't just fear, it's protection. And that's why you're feeling the resistance. That is why it's so hard to fully step into that new level. Basically, your subconscious is trying to keep you attached to what worked because it's familiar, even if it's not what you want anymore. Your subconscious is trying to keep you attached to what worked, even if it's not what you want anymore. And we can see this happen in so many areas. Just to give you another example, if you find that you're consistently trying to make more money in your business, but you always default back to a baseline of let's say $10,000 months. And no matter what, even if you have a higher income month, you always find a way to spend that money too. Maybe random expenses come up. Maybe, random things in your business come up. Maybe random investments come up. And you always end up with that baseline of 10K. That is another example of how your subconscious mind is keeping you safe or keeping you attached to what worked because it's familiar, even if it's not what you want anymore. This can also happen because we see a lack of safety and we're making pivots in our business. Let's say you're starting to make the pivot and you've never had a big income drop in your business before, but now suddenly things are declining because you're making these small changes and your audience hasn't quite yet calibrated to this new level of you. And it starts to shake your confidence, especially if you're used to being the one who's always been solid in your mindset, or has always figured it out, or has always done things easily in business. So that's something else that I see a lot of high-level entrepreneurs experience. And this is something that I told this gal who joined this mindset audit with me. I said, this is actually very normal. I see so many high-level entrepreneurs that are making, or have made $170,000, $180,000, $200,000 months. They've had these massive launches. They've, sold out their programs for years, and now they're feeling called to doing something different, or to speaking to a higher level client, or to, removing themselves from the business a little bit. And, maybe you experienced a little bit of a wobble. Your income declined just a little bit at one point. You had a little bit of a drop. You had a little decline, and that shook your confidence. And now you feel unsafe. And so now everything in your business feels hard. And you become the person who, once moved really, really quickly. Now you don't. You were the person who just invested really easily. Now you're overthinking a $500 investment. You were the person who just thought of an offer, moved, launched it, and now it's taking you months and months and months to get it out there. You were the person who, just showed up in your stories and let it be easy. And now you're the person that's overthinking every single thing. This is your subconscious protecting you because it doesn't want you to continue to decline, right? So with that being said, knowing that it's subconscious protection does not mean that you can just decide to show up and move through it and, just take action anyways. I think that is one of the things that really frustrates me about the online space. It's like, just take action, just, move through your mindset blocks with action, or just keep showing up. And it's like, yeah, that's realistic in some ways, but if your subconscious and your mind and body is protecting you in that way, you're going to experience a lot of resistance to just showing up. So the way that we actually need to move through this is to release and reprogram and then rebuild our business from that new place. And so this is the actual step-by-step process that I take my clients through. It's the release, reprogram, and rebuild framework. And we actually go through it in Embodying the Leader Within, which is the program that is available right now for $1,000 off. We start with step one, releasing. So we're finding clarity on what those blocks are. Why is your subconscious protecting you? So it could be that, you think that you're not going to make money in this new area because you're not going to be seen as an authority. Or it could be like the client that I just shared with you who had one experience that kind of was a little bit traumatic for her, where her income dropped suddenly and she had this massive team that she had a lot of responsibility for to pay, etc. She didn't know why this dip in income was happening. And so now as she's pivoting, her subconscious is like, no, we can't do that. We have to stay where it's safe. It could be something like that. And we're not going to know what that thing is for you until we find clarity and we release it. So you have to release the identity that got you here, not because it's wrong, but because it's not aligned anymore. So we're letting go of, being maybe the one who just helps beginners, or letting go of trying to package every possible lesson into a course just because it's what worked before, because you have to over deliver to see results, or letting go of trying to be like everything as a coach and instead really hone in on like what your specific, who you want to be known for is, right? Or letting yourself evolve and have a multi-passionate brand. That could be part of it as well too. And once we find clarity and we are able to start releasing what those blocks are and releasing that old identity, we can then reprogram and shift the belief that says you'll lose your income, your momentum, your credibility by evolving, and we'll build that safety into this new level that you want to create. So instead of what if it doesn't sell, we reprogram to what if this new level actually sells better than anything I've ever done before. So we create safety in that change, because obviously your audience isn't going to be confused through a brand pivot. I've made a million of them. I mean, my business Instagram that I have literally today started as a VA account, and now I'm a hypnotherapist. So obviously, like, you can do pivots and be totally safe through them. But your audience is just waiting for you to lead them through that and waiting for your evolution. And I think part of being a leader is also allowing yourself to evolve and fail publicly and, show up and letting people see that evolution through your brand, right? And so when you stop shrinking to meet like who people think you used to be, you start attracting who you're becoming through that process. So those higher level clients will naturally come through this process. And then, and only then, we rebuild your content, your offers, your presence, your online brand, your launches, etc., from the version of you who is within this new identity. So basically, knowing that this work is valuable, trusting that people want what you have now, not needing to over explain or justify it with like doing more. But that's the woman who scales or builds a scalable business. So what we have to understand about subconscious blocks is that all subconscious blocks manifest as behaviors. So when we're building a business without doing the releasing, without doing that reprogramming, we're actually building a business from like our past self, our inner child, our like 0 to 8-year-old self. We're building a business from the hurt places that are within us. So like someone that told us 12 years ago that we're not worthy, or, that one person that said that one mean thing about how we're not pretty enough, or, our dad saying that we're not a good writer, or whatever it is, right? We're building a business from that hurt place. And so that's why I say then and only then do we align your business strategy with this new version of you. And you won't even have to try to align it. It will just naturally happen. You'll naturally make the pivot. You'll find that action is really easy for you once you've done this work. And that is the woman who builds a scalable business. That's the identity that sells without burning out. And that's exactly what we rewire in Embodying the Leader Within. So if you're in a space right now where your business does not feel aligned anymore, trust me, I've been there. This is the same work that's helped me through these processes. I mentioned in my training that talks about how I handled the first trimester of pregnancy and how my business supported me through that. I mentioned that I went through one of these evolutions during that time period, and I actually shifted my messaging mid-launch because of it. And so, this is the work that holds me through those times as well too. Like I said, the Instagram account that you guys probably all found me on literally started as a VA account, and now I'm a hypnotherapist. I've allowed myself to evolve and fail publicly, and also to let my clients see me through that evolution. And so this is, the work that I'm doing. I'm doing that rewiring, that releasing every single day and letting it flow into my business strategy. And so if this episode felt like I'm talking directly to you, I probably was, because I know, again, I mentioned before, if one client asked me it, I know everyone's experiencing it. They're getting to a point where their brand, their content, their offers, their membership, maybe their mastermind, etc., doesn't feel aligned anymore. You're starting to feel a little bit disconnected from your brand, and it's time to pivot, time to change. And this in-between space that you're in, it's not a problem, but it is a portal to your next level, and you have to decide to commit to it. And you don't need a better plan. You don't need to map out a 17-step process for this new relaunch or rebrand. I see so many people that fall off the face of the planet during a pivot like this, and they decide that they have to do a full rebrand. You don't need to do that. You can just allow yourself to evolve publicly, and I promise that you will attract clients through it. Basically, you just need to become the version of you who leads, sells, and scales with the confidence that you used to have when you first started your brand, and the freedom and the higher level space that you want now. So this is what we do in Embodying the Leader Within. If you've experienced this, we do the rebuilding, the releasing, the reprogramming all together in that program. And just some of the things that we look at are money blocks. We look at momentum blocks. We look at, finding more clarity in your brand and allowing yourself to pivot into that as well too. So this is not a strategy program. Yes, you will naturally sell more and make more money when you're in this program because you're going to be showing up from that clear space. Like I mentioned, a lot of people are building a business from an ungrounded, unsafe, inner child, past self place. And so when we heal and we reprogram and release those things, and we're then showing up in a leadership capacity, we're showing up from a grounded space, we're showing up, with clear intentions, naturally you will sell more. But this is not a program where we're going into a 5-step strategy. This is a program where we are going to do the deeper mindset, subconscious work. It's not even mindset work, it's subconscious work. You might even call it somatic hypnotherapy, because we're getting into the body as well too. And this is the work that you've been missing, because you probably have been strategizing your way through your whole business, and you haven't even taken the time to sit down for an hour and be like, what do I actually want? What do I actually connect to? What pieces of my brand do I resonate with? And so this is the program where for an hour every single week, an hour and a half sometimes 2 hours, we connect as a group, we connect as women, we share what we're going through, and then we do hypnosis. We do that deep subconscious work where you release, reprogram, and then you rebuild your business from that new grounded place. And it's time that we start talking about leadership as the ultimate sales strategy. And that is what we're doing. We're creating leaders in this program. That's why it's called Embodying the Leader Within. We're embodying the version of you who just takes action with ease, who just moves quickly. And so if you're curious about this program, this is going to go live, I think 2 days before the discount is ending. But you can either DM me the word leader, or you can click the link in the show notes and join directly below. Enrollment is open. The $1,000 discount ends April 25th, so this Friday. And we are going to rewire your business from the inside out in this program, so you can finally build your business from the version of the woman that you are now. And I'm so excited about this program. We've been running this program for, I think this is the 5th round. So for 4 years now, I've run this program, and it is something unlike anything you've ever been in before in regards to a group program, because you probably have joined a lot of business programs, but you've never joined a business program that is strictly hypnotherapy. And it is life-changing in the best way. So definitely click the link below to check out the sales page, and just even flip through some of the testimonials from this program. Listen to some of the testimonials, that are live, that we've, interviewed some of my clients that have gone through hypnosis with me, some of their shifts. And if you resonate with any of it, if you're feeling called to join, definitely join before Friday, because we have extended payment plans available right now. We have $1,000 off. There's a lot of bonuses that also you get access to when you join early. So let's do it together. This is for you if you're in that in between and you're ready to feel more aligned. So I'm so excited to connect with you. Please DM me if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon.